Hey, Justin.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Thank you for joining me. We're back for another Connect webinar series. This one is called Automating Feedback to Improve the E-commerce Experience. I'm Rosie Davenport from the product marketing team at Alchemer, and I'm joined by Justin Falk, our product manager. Justin, thank you again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, my fun fact, we've been doing some fun facts every time we get on one of these. And my fun fact today, since it's been so hot here in Colorado, what temperature is too hot for you?
I think about 100 degrees with no humidity, but with humidity, it's like 80. 80 is too hot with humidity.
Okay, okay, that's pretty generous, I'll say. I was gonna say like a 95, 96. I start feeling pretty antsy, but okay, 100. I agree with you on the humidity. I can't stand it, but
hmm
okay, good to know. Now we're just filling our heads with all of these fun facts. Cool. Well, what are we going to talk about today at the webinar? Jumping right in, we're going to talk about the Connect product suite, why it's important, how folks can automate feedback in their own processes. I know we have a customer example we're going to talk about, and you've agreed to give us a live demo of how the product actually works, which is exciting. And then we'll just wrap up with some business impact. Sound good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Let's kick in. So first off, I just wanted to start with, what are we talking about today? What is this product capability that Alchemer has? We call it the Connect product suite. I know it has to do with integrations and automations. And in general, as I set this up for you, my understanding is like a lot of folks have a great feedback tool in place already, but they might not be doing much with the feedback they're collecting, or they might not know what they can do with the feedback they're collecting. So tell us a little bit about why we built this Connect product suite and what it does.
Yeah, so we've really focused over the last about year and a half on building out our connection ability to other systems. And the reason why we did that is because feedback is not really useful unless you can take action on it. And it's hard to take action on the feedback unless it's in a place where it matters, in a place where your business users are, whether that's your CRM or other types of systems. And if you can't collect that feedback, if you can't capture it in the moment when it's relevant to the people that you're interested in hearing from, it's really hard to get feedback. So that's why we were really focused on connecting out into other systems, to listen for events in those systems, to initiate the feedback solicitation, and to push that feedback into the places where it really matters.
Yeah, and you mentioned this has been a big focus, I know, for you and other members of the team for the last few years. I mean, how many people have you helped for
Uh,
this?
yeah, thousands of customers, hundreds of integrations with all sorts of different systems, lots of different unique use cases. People are coming to us all the time with, "Hey, I have this really unique case." And I'm like, "Well, we can take a look at that." And we haven't encountered one yet that we haven't been able to solve.
That's awesome. I will do a little brag on your behalf. I think a lot of the feedback we hear from customers is just how easy it is to actually use and connect your feedback data and get, different workflows set up and automate action. So kudos to you and your team. I know we're going to see that firsthand later today, but I just love hearing how many people we've helped and the fact that you roll these out so often, new use cases to meet every customer's needs. I think it's pretty rare that you're able to do that every week or two. Meet a new use case for different customers. So kudos. I know that's not easy.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, you're right. We're able to do these really quickly. We have a lot of pre-built ones. That's what we'll look at today. But it's haven't encountered a use case yet that we haven't been able to solve.
Cool. Well, that's a challenge. I'll take it. So specifically today, we're talking about, connecting feedback data for folks who run e-commerce sites, right? So you have this website that's collecting all this great data points and you're buying and selling and customers are using that site for different reasons. And I know there are a ton of data points available on there, but there's still a really important place for collecting feedback from how customers are using that site, interacting with your brand there. Super valuable to get the customer sentiment as quickly and then take action, as quickly as possible. So we have some best practices here. I'd love to hear from you. why, what are the best practices folks should be setting up if they have an e-commerce
Mhm.
site?
Yep. So here's I mean, you can read the bullets yourself of the feedback that we're getting from our e-commerce customers of why they're saying they're using Alchemer. I think it really boils down to again that ability to take action on the feedback. One, to get the feedback in at the right time when it matters, and two, to do something with that feedback. Send it to the right team who can help address issues or maybe follow up with the customers if they're unhappy with their experience.
Yeah, and I know a lot of e-commerce sites have some built-in solutions for you to kind of take the pulse or temperature of your customers. But my understanding is they're not, and they don't have the robustness of a full feedback solution, like a full platform ability to report on and analyze and get you sentiment trends and push that data to other places. Is that right? Is that kind of something folks who have e-commerce sites should be thinking about?
Yeah, that absolutely is. And I mean, we're a survey platform where this is the core of our business is feedback and analyzing that feedback and gaining insights from that feedback. So yes, all of the e-commerce platforms have some basic sort of, hey, how did we do sorts of tools, but it's going into a place where it's hard to access. Usually, the teams that need to have that feedback don't have access to the e-commerce platforms, and uh, many of our customers are also wanting to do more complex things than those basic surveys offer. So we have 42 question types. We have tons of logic in our surveys. You can do really complex surveys if you want to, or you can drive follow-up actions with our workflows. So we really make those sorts of things easy, and then we make it really easy to get that data out into the other systems that you're already using. So into your Salesforce, maybe you need a alert in Slack. You want to create a support ticket to automatically help people who are giving you negative feedback. Those sorts of things.
Yeah, sounds like just making people's lives easier, ensuring that data isn't being siloed. As I look at this list of best practices, I think, some of these are fairly simple actions and some of them are a little more complex. I'd be curious, do you see a range of that, like customers who are just setting up kind of a really simple automation, and then other folks who might have multiple steps they're trying to achieve with a workflow?
Yeah, so we see the entire range. So some people just, hey, I want to solicit feedback when post-purchase feedback, and that's great, and that's all that they need. We have others that want to do like have a really complex survey that really drill down into the reasons of why they're leaving that sort of feedback, um, or do follow-up actions, like I mentioned, pushing into other systems that they're using, or maybe sending out another follow-up survey 7 days later based on the responses that they're getting. So we see across the board those sorts of things, and people tend to start with the basics and then kind of add on because we make that really easy to do. And we'll see that again here in a minute. Just how easy it is to set up those more complex workflows and actions. It's quite straightforward in our UI. So you can start with the simple cases and then move into the advanced cases as you need.
Yeah, I think that's such a great story. I'd love to talk about one story in particular. I know you guys helped a customer of ours out somewhat recently who was dealing with this exact issue, right? So from what I heard, they had a great e-commerce platform. It was their site's performing well, but the ability of the e-commerce platform to actually collect robust feedback data in the way that they wanted and then take that data and do something with it was really lacking. So tell me a little bit about that story, what happened and what solution we were able to put in place for them.
Yeah, so they were doing a good, your basic post survey or post purchase survey. How did we do, kind of thing. But they wanted to really drive more. They wanted to drill down into the reasons of the people who are leaving the negative feedback, and they were dissatisfied with the basic tools that were available with the e-commerce platform to really apply logic and follow-up questions based on the previous questions, which is really why they chose Alchemer, because we make those sorts of things easy to do. The other thing that they wanted to do is they wanted to push that information out. In their case, it was Salesforce. They wanted to push it back into their CRM so that their reps could then reach out to their customers. Because the reps were living in their Salesforce, they didn't have access to the e-commerce platform. So they wanted that sort of feedback loop to go directly out into that platform, which again, we make really easy.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Sounds like they were just able to, make their jobs a little easier, actually collect uh, more deeper insights that lead to actual changes in the business, and actions that folks can take. So a little work up front to get it set up. And then you're off to the races. And I'd like to, understand what that might look like for a customer going through a change like this. So taking you up on your offer of giving us a demo here, I'd love for you to take over the screen and show us, put your money where your mouth is. How easy is it to actually build that?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I've said 5 or 6 times that it's super easy. So yeah, let's see it. Let me share my screen here. All right, and fun. All right, hopefully you're seeing my screen.
I can see it.
Yep. So this is our workflow product, and when you first start up a workflow, it's going to ask you, how do you want to start this workflow? So these are the initiators that we have. And so for e-commerce, it's going to be things like Gladly, it's going to be things like Gorgeous, or Shopify is kind of your quintessential e-commerce platform that we have.
And Justin, sorry, I know you said this earlier. You're just showing us kind of some things up on the screen, but we really have the ability to integrate with any e-commerce system. Is that right?
We do. So and the way that we build these things out is we'll get a request from our sales team or from a customer and say, hey, can you integrate with this thing? And again, the answer is almost always yes. We haven't found one that we can't integrate with. And that's how we build these things out. So if you have another platform that's not listed here, we can absolutely integrate with it and create one of these things for that. So in this case, I'm going to select a Shopify. And I'm going to start the workflow from the Shopify webhook. So Shopify has all sorts of tools to fire off what they call a webhook based on events that are happening in Shopify. And that the way that this would be configured in Shopify is you would just go and set it up to fire this event when the customer purchase happens. It's going to give you some payload here to put in. This all happens on the Shopify side. So you just paste that in. And then we automatically make those fields available as merge codes into the workflow here. So that sounds great. How do we then use that? So I wanted to actually send that survey invite. So the way I do that is I just drop in the survey that I want to send. I'm going to configure that. So in this case, it's going to be my simple NPS survey. And then I'll drop in the survey invite.
Okay, so I'm just repeating back what I've seen so far. You really quickly integrated with Shopify. We didn't see the Shopify side, but I'm guessing it's fairly easy to get that data and get this set up. That took a few seconds, and then you are able to start building steps of the automation you'd like to set up. Is that right?
Yep, that's right. So you're right. I didn't show you the Shopify side, but all of these systems are very similar. In Shopify, you would just go and say, I want to create a new trigger, and you want to trigger it on the post-purchase, and then you would put that URL that we gave you right there in that screen, in that thing, and then that's it. You're done. You don't have to do anything else. You didn't have to go to your IT department. You didn't have to install any applications or anything like that. It really is just that simple. And now I'm getting over the fields that I need to do the configuration. So one of the fields that was set up there was email. So I'm going to set the email to send to, not the name, but I'm going to send it to the email. To email.
I like when we get to see the errors in live.
Yeah, and we'll put the name here. And so this is just our default template for email invites. Of course, you can customize this in any way that you like with their name. Shopify also has the ability to send over like what the thing is that they purchased. So you can even put that here. Hey, thanks for purchasing this shoe. Why don't you give us your feedback on that? Or I'll just leave it as is for now. So now what would happen is we would publish this, we would make it active. Now it's set up, ready to go, and it's going to start sending out emails as my customers go through Shopify and complete those purchases. So here's a kind of a mock-up of what that the experience would look like for the end user. They went to the website, they completed the purchase. They don't have to do anything else, and then they would get an email that looks something like this.
Okay, so it's that's the automation right there. They purchase, you get to then set up the trigger of when that email goes to them, or the next action you're looking for.
The next action that you're looking for, you can configure that. I didn't have any delays in there. We could have a delay of a day, 7 days, whatever it is that you want.
Yeah.
And then that's the customer experience. They didn't have to do anything. They just went through your checkout process, and then they're getting the survey invite automatically based on that.
Great.
Yep. So what we can do is we can do things like you just mentioned. So I don't want it to go out immediately because they've just made the purchase. I want
Yeah,
to
give them a
maybe,
chance to use it, right?
yeah, I want to delay for 7 days.
Great.
So now we're starting to get into a little bit of the more advanced features that we had talked about earlier,
Mhm.
that it's really easy to do these sorts of things. So great, I've just added a delay for 7 days. Maybe I want to take some follow-up action if I'm receiving negative feedback there. So I'm going to put some logic in here.
So they answer your survey and they're like, "No, I hate the new shoes. They're awful. They're not
Yeah,
comfortable at all." What do we do then?
yeah. What do we do then? So let's put a condition in here. So we're going to drive this off of their response to that survey. And we want to say this is the how did you rate us. So if they're giving us anything below a 7, we want to take some action on that. So again, super easy design for the business users. Don't need to have any kind of complex IT involvement to create any of this stuff. And now you see here all the other things that we can do. So we had a initial survey. I could send myself an email. I could send myself a Slack message. So let's drop that in
Yeah,
there.
alert the account manager. Let them know
Yeah,
their customer's not happy,
I
right?
can open up a Zendesk ticket to go to my support team to handle them. And again, in here we can have these the message that I'm going to send to Slack, or the body that I'm going to create for the Zendesk ticket, can have all of the answers for that the customer is giving. So it's all the feedback is here. So I can insert their rating, can insert any comments that they left. So tell us more. And that's it, right? So I've configured it. It's working. I'll publish this version. Well, if I didn't have Zendesk in there, I could publish that version, or if I had set it up, and I'm done. I don't have to do anything else.
And to be clear, this could be any kind of survey. We have NPS in here. It could be did you have a great experience? Yes, no, rate the quality of service you received, right? Like the type of survey you set up, there's no limitations here. And then dependent on the actions you want to take later, like this is just where folks can really personalize it to their business.
That's absolutely true. So maybe let's change it. Let's just change it to a customer satisfaction survey. This one's a little bit more complex, right? So if I'm going in here and looking at this survey, it's got multiple pages. It has multiple different types of questions. It really drills into um, the different types of things.
Mhm.
So this is where the complexity level comes into play. So I
Mhm.
started with a really simple NPS type survey. Maybe that's not enough for me. Again, we have 42 different question types. You can chain the questions together. So if I'm adding a new question, we have all of these different things available that your basic surveys that are available in your e-commerce platform. They just don't have this ability. So
Yeah.
that's really where it comes into play.
Yeah. I know that's where platforms like ours really stand out. Well, this is great, Justin. I think, what I saw there was really, it's truly a drag and drop, right? For non-technical folks like me who don't know how to code, who don't want to wait for an IT or an engineering team or developer to like help me build something. I just want to go out and do it. You did that in 5 minutes.
Yep. So it really is just that simple. And again, we can initiate off of any of these different systems. So we have the ability to do this for a lot of different things.
Well, thank you. That was really helpful, very insightful, and I think gave me a really clear idea of like what we were able to do. I'm going to take control back over of this screen and come back to our slides here. And just as we start to wrap up here, not only do I think that or know that this kind of product and ability makes folks' lives easier, I think there are some real outcomes, right, that happen when people set up their systems this way.
Yeah. So when we survey our customers, this is what they're telling us when we segment it out for the e-commerce segment. So number one, it's that reduced time in manual processing. So yeah, again, previous to this, many people would be kind of manually creating lists and campaigns and uploading those. This just automates that whole process. I just connected it to my Shopify. It's listening for those events. It's automatically sending out the survey invites. It's automatically sending the responses into my Slack, into my Zendesk, into my CRM system so I can take action on it. And that reduction in time is really valuable for our customers. The other thing we see here is that higher CSAT scores. That's due because you're actually able to listen to the feedback that you're getting and take action on it in real time as you're receiving it. You're not, it's going into those channels where the people are seeing it and can reach out directly, which of course improves those CSAT scores. And then for new product launches, again, since you're sitting on top of that real-time feed of the scores that are coming in and the feedback, you can take action on it to correct any hiccups that you might have in those new product launches as you're doing them.
Yeah, wonderful. All great things, all nice to hear, and it's good to know that what we're building actually helps customers in a really meaningful way. As we finish up here, I just really keep thinking about how to tie this all together, and I think this idea of bringing all of your customer feedback together for a clear, unified view. So, if you have an e-commerce system, and maybe that's only one part of your business, and you're collecting feedback for brick and mortar locations, or collecting feedback from other folks, right? Like bringing that together in one system for a unified view feels really, really important. I think when we think about automating things, automation maybe sounds scary in the setup, but we just saw how easy it is to actually set up. And once you have those automations, that data syncing with the systems you want it to sync with just saves you time. It saves your team time. And it means you guys can go out and actually implement the changes that you need to get to for, whatever business outcomes you're looking to achieve. And then getting insights to the right team. I think, you showed this in your demo. We have this set up at Alchemer, right? So anytime we get any sort of feedback that needs attention, we route that to our Slack channels. We route it to an account manager. It's instantaneous. There's no manual work. That account manager gets notified immediately, like, hey, we need to go help this person or figure it out. And same goes for like reporting to leadership, right? Automating any report, sharing out reporting to leadership. It just seems like a real boon to be able to get those insights to where they need to go really quickly. And ultimately, that's going to fuel smarter decisions. It's going to get you better products in the end because you're listening to your customers and your stakeholders really closely. And it's going to get you stronger relationships that ultimately will help grow, your business or your brand. So that being said, any last words, any words of advice for our viewers out there?
Yeah, I think it's just collect the feedback while it's fresh and do something with it, act on it in the moment is my advice. And again, if you are using a platform that you didn't see on that list, that doesn't mean we can't do it. It means you need to tell us about it and we can have it working for you. It typically takes us 1 to 2 weeks to create new ones of these because we focus so heavily on the infrastructure to do that.
Well, Justin, I certainly don't want you to get bored. So I think, I'm going to put out a real call here, a challenge to our customers to ensure that you continue to have a long list of use cases and folks to help. I think that'd be great. And I'm sure, I'm sure you won't be bored anytime in the near future. But thank you so much for joining me for our webinar today. That was wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And anybody watching out there, if you're curious about what Alchemer Connect and these automations and integrations can do for your organization, we have a contact page listed in the webinar description here. If you're a current customer, please feel free to reach out to your customer success manager or visit our website. Other than that, Justin, I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good day.
Yeah, sounds great. See ya.
Bye.